It's easy to fight when you got a lot of ships to work with. The real crunch comes when you're down to almost nothing. From Garibaldi of Babylon 5. Throughout the different periods of time in the Babylon 5 universe, the Dilgar Invasion always interested me. Throughout the different seasons, we only got a small glance of what actually happened during the invasion, but I always wanted to know more, which led to me rereading the Babylon 5 Wars booklet on the Dilgar Invasion. Even though this material is not considered canon, it does give us an insight what could have happened and the destruction that was caused by the Dilgar people. What I really want to know is what would happen if the Dilgar tried to take on the Centauri. Originally, the Centauri was a big superpower and controlled a big portion of the known galaxy. Once the Empire was in decline, some of the races that were under the control, such as the Narn, were starting to create their own empire and grow their territory. When the Centauri finally left a huge section of their territory and gave back the planets to the original owner, a huge power vacuum occurred. A lot of the other worlds were still building their governments and military, which left a huge opportunity from another faction to possibly invade, such as the Dilgar. Since they invaded during this time, they were able to gain a big chunk of territory. The Narn feared if they joined the war against the Dilgar that it would have left them vulnerable to attack from the Centauri, which is the reason why they signed a treaty confirming their neutrality. The main reason why the Dilgar never attempted to invade the Centauri was due to their proximity. The territories that were blocking them from the Centauri were the Drazi and the Narn. They couldn't attack the Narn since they signed a neutrality treaty, and the Drazi became a difficult faction to defeat, which is the main reason why we never saw a war take place between the Dilgar and the Centauri. The Dilgar were able to gain a huge chunk of territory from the Drazi, but they eventually were stopped. They did try to break the stalemate multiple times, with some success, but their attempts to completely take control was in vain. The only way I could foresee the Dilgar invading the Centauri is if they had some reinforcement from another power that shared the same territory with their enemy, like the Narn. The Narn have already traded with the Dilgar during the war, so there was already some kind of conversation between both of these factions already. But if the Dilgar opened up negotiations with the Narn, stating if they join the war against the Drazi, that the Dilgar will attack the Centauri once the invasion is completed. Negotiations will take some time, because they didn't trust the Dilgar for obvious reasons. Once they were able to convince the Narn to join the war, the Drazi would fall pretty quickly, since fighting two fronts would be too much for their forces. Once they finally defeat the Drazi, I'm pretty sure the Dilgar would probably spend some time building a stable supply chain to the front before they finally invade the Centauri. With the two forces attacking Centauri space, both of the factions would be able to take the outer territory. Once the Centauri forces regroup, it would be challenging for them to take more ground, since overall the Centauri do possess superior technology than the Narn and the Dilgar. Granted, the Dilgar did accomplish great technology improvements in some areas of science and engineering, but overall they're inferior to the Centauri. This invasion would catch the attention of the Earth Alliance. Other races that were already invaded by the Dilgar were already trying to convince the humans to join the war, but the Alliance was hesitant to get involved and waste their resources on a war that they had no involvement with. But once the Centauri got invaded, this would change everything. The Centauri was the Alliance's greatest trade partner, and if the Centauri fell, the Earth Alliance would be alone, surrounded by factions that were at the brink of destruction. The only difference between the actual Dilgar invasion and this scenario is that the Earth Alliance would be fighting the Narn and the Dilgar at the same time, with the Centauri support. Eventually the Dilgar will lose and be forced to be stranded on their planet once their star goes supernova. The only difference from the aftermath of this war from this scenario would be the Centauri trying to regrow their empire again. Once they win the war, they were able to gain a huge chunk of Narn territory and over time eventually retake the Narn homeworld. A possible Cold War could occur between the Centauri and the League of Non-Alien Worlds with the support of the Earth Alliance to prevent the Centauri starting to grow their own territory. In summary, the Dilgar wouldn't be able to take on the Centauri by themselves since they stretched themselves out too thin during the war. What's your thoughts on this scenario, and do you think the Dilgar would be able to defeat the Centauri? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe to my channel, and also don't forget to click on the notification button to keep yourself updated with my channel. You might also enjoy these two other videos displayed on the screen, and for more sci-fi content then please follow me on my socials. Thank you for watching Utopian Broadcast, and I'll see you next time on my channel. Thank you.